My name is Clara Whitmore. I'm 34 years old. 3 months ago, the military told me my husband had died during a mission. The moment I heard those words, it felt like my entire world collapsed. Since that day, I cried for him almost every night. I tried to be strong. I tried to accept that he was gone. But the truth is, a small part of me never believed it. Then one afternoon, my sister suddenly called me. Her voice was shaking. "Claire, will you come to my house right now?" she said. "There's something you need to see." And when I finally saw it, my whole body went cold. But to understand that moment, I need to go back to the beginning. 3 months earlier, 2 military officers knocked on my door. My husband, Daniel Whitmore, had been a soldier for nearly 10 years. He was brave, disciplined, and fiercely loyal to his country. But to me, he wasn't a hero in uniform. He was simply the man who made my world feel safe. The moment I opened the door and saw the 2 officers standing there, my heart sank. Somehow I already knew why they had come. They spoke carefully and respectfully. Daniel had been sent overseas on a dangerous mission with a small military team. The mission had gone wrong. There had been an explosion. According to the report, no one survived. For a moment I couldn't breathe. It felt like the ground had disappeared beneath my feet. I remember grabbing the edge of the table just to stay standing. The officers continued talking about honor, sacrifice, and bravery. But honestly, after the words "he didn't survive," I barely heard anything else. After they left, the house felt unbearably quiet. Too quiet. Daniel's jacket was still hanging by the door. His coffee mug was still on the kitchen counter. Everything in the house looked exactly the same. Except he was gone. The first few nights were the hardest. I barely slept. Every time I closed my eyes, memories of Daniel filled my mind. The way he laughed. The way he hugged me before leaving for duty. The way he always promised, "I'll come back." But this time he hadn't. At least that's what everyone believed. Weeks passed. Friends and relatives came to comfort me. They brought food, flowers, and long conversations about how strong I needed to be. But when everyone left and the house became quiet again, the loneliness returned. At night, I often sat alone in the living room, staring at old photos of Daniel on my phone. Sometimes I even listened to his old voice messages, just to hear his voice again. Some nights I cried until morning. I kept telling myself that Daniel would want me to move forward. That he would want me to stay strong. But moving forward without him felt impossible. 3 months passed like that, slow, painful days that all blurred together. Then one afternoon, something unexpected happened. I was sitting on the couch, quietly drinking tea, when my phone suddenly rang. It was my younger sister, Lily. Normally, Lily was cheerful and talkative. But the moment I answered, I noticed something was wrong. Her voice sounded tense. Almost nervous. "Clara," she said quietly. "I need you to come to my house right now." "What's going on?" I asked. There was a long pause. Then she said something that made my heart start racing. "There's something here, and I think you need to see it yourself." "Clara," she said quickly. "Where are you right now?" "At home," I replied. There was a short pause. Then she said something that made my heart start beating faster. "Clara, can you come to my house right now?" Her voice was shaking slightly. "There's something I need to show you." I frowned. "What is it?" But she didn't answer directly. "Just come," she said. "It's important." Something in her tone made me uneasy. Lily wasn't the kind of person who acted mysterious. If something was wrong, she usually said it immediately. But today she sounded different. Serious, almost shocked. My mind started racing with questions. Was something wrong with our parents? Did something happen to someone in the family? "Lily," I said again. "You're scaring me. What's going on?" Another short silence followed. "I can't explain it on the phone," she said quietly. "You just need to see it yourself." A strange feeling formed in my chest. A mix of confusion and worry. "Okay," I finally said. "I'm coming." Her house was only 15 minutes away, but the drive felt much longer. The entire time my mind kept trying to guess what was happening, but nothing made sense. When I pulled into Lily's driveway, I immediately noticed something unusual. She was already standing outside the front door waiting. The moment she saw my car, she walked quickly toward me. Her face looked pale and her eyes were wide with shock. My heart started pounding. "What's wrong?" I asked as soon as I stepped out of the car. She didn't answer right away. Instead, she gently grabbed my hand and pulled me toward the house. Just come inside, she said. We walked into the living room. Lily picked up her phone from the table and held it tightly for a moment, as if she was trying to gather the courage to show me something. Then she slowly turned the screen toward me. Clara, she said quietly, you need to look at this. The moment my eyes landed on the photo, my entire body went cold. For several seconds I couldn't move. I just stared at the screen. The man in the photo looked exactly like Daniel. The same face. The same eyes. Even the small scar above his eyebrow, the one he got during military training years ago. My hands started shaking. That can't be possible, I whispered. My voice felt weak and distant. The military had told me my husband was dead. They said no one survived that mission. But the man in this photo was Daniel. Lily sat beside me, watching my reaction carefully. I know what you're thinking, she said softly. I thought the same thing when I first saw it. She zoomed in on the picture. The photo showed Daniel sitting outside a small house. Behind him were mountains and a quiet road. He looked thinner than before. His beard had grown longer and there were bandages near his shoulder. But it was him. There was no doubt in my mind. My heart began racing. How did you find this? I asked. One of my friends shared the post earlier today, Lily explained. At first I didn't notice anything. But when I looked again, the man looked familiar. She paused. Then I realized he looks exactly like Daniel. I stared at the screen again. Under the photo was a short message. It said the man had been found badly injured near the border after a military operation months earlier. A local family had taken him in and helped him recover. My chest tightened. So, he survived, I whispered. Lily nodded slowly. That's what it looks like. For a moment I didn't know what to feel. Hope, shock, or fear. All of it mixed together. If Daniel was really alive, then the last 3 months of grief suddenly felt unreal. But why didn't he contact me? I asked quietly. I don't know, Lily replied. Maybe he didn't have a phone. Maybe he was too injured. I looked at the screen again. The page belonged to a small medical clinic near the border. The post had been uploaded only 2 days ago, which meant Daniel had probably been there for some time without anyone knowing. We need to contact them, I said suddenly. Lily nodded. I already sent them a message earlier. You did? Asked surprised. She handed me the phone. Look. She had asked the clinic about the injured soldier in the photo, but there had been no reply yet. My heart started pounding harder. I quickly typed another message, explaining who I was and telling them Daniel was my husband. I also wrote that the military had reported him dead. Then we waited. Minutes passed. No answer. I tried calling the phone number listed on the page. The phone rang but no one answered. Lily tried calling too. Still nothing. The waiting felt unbearable. Every second felt longer than an hour. What if it's really him? I whispered. What if Daniel is alive somewhere out there, and he thinks I don't know? Lily squeezed my hand. Then we'll find him, she said firmly. We won't stop until we know the truth. Almost an hour passed. Then suddenly a message notification appeared on the screen. Both of us froze. Lily quickly opened it. The message was from the clinic. Read. Yes, the soldier in the photo was found badly injured after a military mission several months ago. He had multiple gunshot wounds and severe trauma. A local family brought him to us for treatment. My heart skipped a beat. Daniel had been alive this entire time. The message continued. He is now stable and recovering well. The family who helped him has been taking care of him during his recovery. Tears immediately filled my eyes. For 3 months I had believed my husband was gone forever. I had mourned him, cried for him, and tried to accept a life without him. But somehow he had survived. Clara, Lily said softly. This means he's really alive. I wiped my tears, trying to breathe. Where exactly are they? I asked. The clinic had included their location in the message. It was a small town across the border, several hours away by plane. I stared at the address on the screen while my heart raced. 3 months ago I had buried my husband in my mind. Now there was a chance he was still alive. I'm going there, I said firmly. Lily looked at me. You mean now? Yes, I replied. I have to see him with my own eyes. Without hesitation, Lily nodded. Then I'm coming with you. For the first time in months, something new filled my chest. Not grief. Not emptiness. Hope. because somewhere in that distant town my husband might still be alive. And very soon I was going to find out the truth. The next 2 days felt like the longest days of my life. Lily and I booked the earliest flight we could find. That night I barely slept. My mind was filled with endless thoughts. What if the man in the photo wasn't really Daniel? What if he had changed? What if I finally saw him again after believing he was gone forever? My heart wouldn't stop racing. The next morning we boarded the plane. During the entire flight I stared out the window in silence, quietly praying. 3 months ago I had accepted that my husband was gone forever. Now there was a chance I was about to see him again. When the plane finally landed, we immediately took a car toward the small town the clinic had sent us. The road was long and quiet. Mountains surrounded the area. The place looked peaceful. Almost too peaceful for a place connected to so much pain. After nearly an hour the car stopped in front of a small medical clinic. My hands began shaking again. "This is it," Lily said softly. For a moment I just sat there in silence. My heart was beating so fast it almost hurt. Then I slowly opened the car door. We walked toward the entrance. Inside the clinic was simple but clean. A nurse greeted us and asked our names. When I explained why we were there, she nodded gently. "Yes," she said. "We know about your message." Then she pointed toward the back of the building. "He's outside." My entire body froze. Outside. That meant he was right there, only a few steps away. I slowly walked toward the door. Every step felt heavy. My heart was pounding so loudly I thought everyone could hear it. Then I pushed the door open. Behind the clinic was a small garden. And sitting on a wooden bench was a man. For a moment the world around me disappeared. It was Daniel. He looked thinner than before. There were faint scars near his shoulder and neck, but it was him. Alive. Breathing. Sitting right in front of me. Tears instantly filled my eyes. "Daniel," I whispered. Saying his name after 3 months felt unreal. He slowly turned his head. Our eyes met. The moment I saw his face clearly, the tears I had been holding back for months finally burst free. I ran toward him. "Daniel." My body was shaking as I stopped in front of him. For months I had imagined this moment. Seeing him again, touching him again, knowing he was alive. But instead of smiling, Daniel looked confused. He slowly stood up and studied my face. Then he said something that made my heart stop. "I'm sorry," he said calmly. "Do I know you?" For a moment I thought I had heard him wrong. "Daniel, it's me," I said softly. But he still looked confused. "Why are you crying?" he asked gently. "Did something happen?" Those words hit me like a wave. He didn't recognize me. Later the doctor explained everything. During the mission Daniel had been badly injured. The explosion and the massive blood loss had affected his memory. That was why he couldn't recognize many things from his past. Including me. Hearing that felt like another heartbreak. For 3 months I believed my husband was dead. Now I had finally found him again, but he couldn't remember our life together. The doctor told me something important. Sometimes memory like this slowly returns if the person is surrounded by familiar people, places, and memories. So I decided to try everything. Because I had already lost him once. I wasn't going to lose him again. Every day I spent time with him. I told him stories about our life together. How we met, how he proposed, our wedding day, the small jokes we used to laugh about. Sometimes I showed him old photos on my phone. Sometimes I took him to places that had been special to us. But days passed. Then weeks. Nothing changed. Daniel was always kind to me. He listened patiently, but his eyes still looked at me like I was a stranger. That quiet pain stayed in my heart every single day. Then one evening about a month later I decided to try something different. I took Daniel to the small park where we had first met years ago. It was a simple place with a few trees and a wooden bench. The same bench where we had talked for hours the first day we met. We sat there quietly. The sunset painted the sky orange and gold. For a moment neither of us spoke. Then slowly I began to sing. It was the song Daniel loved most. The one we always sang together during long car rides. The same song he once sang to me on our anniversary while we danced in the living room. My voice was soft and trembling. The memories tied to that song were too powerful. Daniel sat beside me in silence. At first he simply listened. But after a few seconds I noticed something different. He was staring at me, not the distant, polite look he had given me for weeks, but something else. Something deeper. His expression slowly changed. first serious then confused. Then suddenly his eyes filled with tears. My heart skipped a beat. He kept looking at me as if searching through something buried deep inside his mind. The seconds felt endless. Then in a quiet, shaking voice he said my name. Clara. For a moment I couldn't breathe. It was the first time he had said my name since I found him. Tears instantly filled my eyes. Daniel, I whispered. The next moment he stood up and pulled me into a tight embrace. We both started crying. Not quiet tears, but the kind that come from months of pain, fear, and hope finally breaking free. He held me tightly as if he never wanted to let go again. And in that moment I knew something for certain. I had almost lost my husband forever. But somehow, through all the distance, pain, and broken memories, love had found its way back to him. And this time we were finally together again.